I didn't leave. And for a long time, I told myself that it was the right choice, the responsible one, the one that made sense for my actual life, not some imagined version of it. But lately, I'm not so sure anymore. She sent me a photo last week, just a random Tuesday. Coffee on some terrace, sunlight I don't recognize, a street sign in a language I can't read. She looked relaxed in a way I haven't seen her look in years, maybe ever. I stared at that photo for a long time. I don't know what I was looking for exactly. Maybe proof that she was struggling. Maybe proof that I made the right call. I didn't find either. I almost went. 3 years ago, maybe 4, we talked about it together, actually. Same city, same plan, same terrifying idea. And then one morning I woke up and I just couldn't. The apartment, my mother's health, the job I'd spent 6 years building, the relationship that was complicated but familiar. There were 100 reasons, and every single one of them felt real at the time. She went anyway. I stayed. And I told myself, this is the smart choice, the stable one, the one that keeps everything from falling apart. And for a long time, that felt true. My life is not bad. I want to be clear about that, maybe to myself more than anyone. I have things I love, people who know me, a routine that holds me together when everything else feels like it's shifting. There are mornings I wake up genuinely grateful for exactly where I am. But there are other mornings, the ones where I open my phone and see another life happening somewhere else. And I feel something I don't have a clean word for. Not jealousy exactly, something quieter, like curiosity about a version of myself that never got to exist. A woman who packed a bag and got on a plane and found out who she was when there was nothing familiar left to hold on to. I'll never know her. And some days that feels fine. And some days it sits somewhere deeper, not loud enough to break anything, but not quiet enough to disappear either. People here think I'm stable, grounded. They say it like a compliment. You always know what you want. You don't just throw everything away. And I smile because that's what you're supposed to do. But sometimes I wonder if that's actually who I am, or if that's just the story I built around a decision I didn't fully understand at the time. Because fear doesn't feel like fear when you're inside it. It doesn't arrive as panic or something obvious you can point to. It shows up as responsibility, as practicality, as love for the people who need you, as reasons that sound right and feel right and are right, at least on the surface. And you can spend years living inside those reasons without ever asking yourself if they came from clarity or from something you were trying not to face. And that's the part I keep coming back to. Not that I stayed, but that I might have stayed for the wrong reason. My mother is better now. The relationship ended anyway, 2 years after I stayed partly for it. The job I protected turned out to be just a job. One by one, the reasons that felt so permanent in that moment quietly disappeared. And I'm still here, in the life I chose. And it is a real life, a good life. But sometimes I look at it and I can't tell if I built it intentionally or if I simply stayed inside the structure that was already there. She called me last month, said she's tired sometimes, said starting over is harder than she expected, said some days she misses home in a way that feels physical, like something in her body aches for it. And I listened, and I said everything you're supposed to say. And after we hung up, I sat there with one thought I didn't expect. Even her hard, sounds like freedom to me. And I don't know what to do with that. I don't regret my life. I really don't. But I think about that morning sometimes. The one where I woke up and decided not to go. What if I had pushed through the fear just that once? What if the responsible choice and the brave choice were actually the same thing, and I just couldn't see it at the time? I'll never know. And maybe that's what makes these choices so strange. The ones you don't make don't leave visible damage. They don't break anything you can point to. They just leave questions. Quiet ones. The kind that sit somewhere in the background of your life. Not loud enough to interrupt it, but not quiet enough to ever fully disappear. She's somewhere right now, probably sitting in the sun, drinking coffee on a terrace I've never seen. And I'm here, in a life that makes sense, in a life that works, in a life I chose. I just wish I knew if I chose it, or if I slowly built it around a fear I never questioned.